Okay, how's that? Good?
All good.
All good. Welcome, mate,
Looking forward to it.
to volume number 13.
Not bad.
How's it feel to be on? How are the nerves?
Privileged.
Privileged.
You've had some big guests.
Well,
So now looking forward to it.
mate, only the best on here. So, yeah, as I was saying off air, goal is to have a conversation, get some information about you, find out what you do. Anything in it, pretty much everything is welcome, bar offending a lot of people. You can offend some people, but make sure that it's clear that you're the one offending people.
I won't put it on you.
Yeah, okay. So today we have, I guess I'm not real good at the formal intro, but I'm trying to do, I guess I don't want it to be formal, but today we have Jamie Reeson on. He is a PT. Well, actually, no, I'm going to get you to tell us who you are. So
Sure.
tell us a little bit about yourself, mate.
Okay, so PT, working at one playground at the moment.
Yeah.
Also do a little bit of online coaching as well,
Cool.
which I'm really enjoying.
Awesome.
Came over to Australia, maybe a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
Came across travelling with my girlfriend, done the full East Coast, got a couple of friends that live here. Decided to settle in Sydney. And then, just got back into PT after having a little bit of time out from travelling. From the UK, so from Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Born in Beverley, which is near Hull, so don't presume you'll have heard of Hull.
No.
Um,
How big's that? Is it?
I don't know in terms of population, but it's not a massive city.
Yeah. Okay.
I live in between like Hull and York, so you might have heard of York.
I
A lot
think
more people do.
I've been to York before.
Yeah, nice place.
Yeah.
So I lived there.
It's got the walls around.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've been there. Yeah.
Real good city to sort of have a weekend there, and
Yeah.
we lived there for a few years.
Yeah.
When I say where I'm from, I always sort of say York because more people are likely to know where I'm from.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, Yorkshire,
Yeah.
Yorkshire lad.
Yeah. I do the same as well. No one knows where I'm from, so I just say the town kind of near. Ned does the same thing. He says the same town because he's kind of near there, but nowhere near there if you're from there. It's the same sort of vibe.
Easier way to go with
Yeah,
it.
it's just a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
Just gets, yeah. So continue. So from Yorkshire?
Yeah, from Yorkshire. Where do we go from here? Shall I take it? How far back shall I go?
As far as you want,
As
mate.
you want.
This is your whole volume.
So if we sort of relate it to PT, let's say maybe 9-10 years ago, became a PT.
Yeah.
Prior to that, even further back, did a sports coaching fitness degree. Always been in sport all my life, so played football at a fairly decent level.
Yep.
From the age of 9 to 17.
Cool.
Played at like a pro club.
Oh, cool.
So
Awesome.
played for Hull City, so
Yep.
give it a Google.
Yep.
Below championship we're in at the minute.
Yeah. Okay.
So I played at a pro club. So I always wanted to be in the sort of fitness
Yeah.
sport industry.
That's awesome.
Wanted to be a footballer.
Yeah.
Didn't make it out.
Yeah. Because it's pretty cutthroat game. Yeah.
Pretty brutal.
Particularly
Yeah.
over there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's such a high sort of standard
Yeah.
in the UK. I think at the time when I didn't get offered the contract, I think at the time we was in the Premier League at that point.
Right. Okay.
So it's sort of a really tough
yeah.
option to get taken on at that point.
Yeah. Do you think you were close?
Well, I did because I'd been there from the age of 9.
Yeah.
I've got a contract every single year.
Yeah.
Played for the year above quite a lot. So I thought, I've done well over the time that I've been here. Been very consistent.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'd been brought up pretty well in terms of always knowing that it might not be as you think it's going to be. It's a pretty brutal, brutal game in terms of getting contracts.
Yeah.
Previous people from the years before, they've been there all the time.
Yeah.
From 9 to 16, don't always get taken on. They bring people in from other countries.
Yeah.
It's a pretty tough one too.
Yeah. And when do you know when you've made it or you haven't made it? One sec, mate. I just need to close that door.
No problem.
Keep talking.
Yeah, so in terms of when you find out, each year you get an assessment meeting where you find out if you got a contract for the next year, give you things to work on, and then it's just basically a case of when you get to, what was it now, end of the year of under 16s,
Yeah.
you find out whether you're going to be getting a pro contract. And at that point, I didn't get offered it.
Yeah. It's pretty brutal as like a 16-year-old to just be like, no, you're not good enough. And then it's pretty much done at that point.
It's sort of off you go, or it's down to you.
Yeah.
Basically, I got offered an option to carry on playing for the club, whilst I could trial other clubs,
Okay.
so that I could carry on training, playing at a decent level. But at that point, you sort of have to make that decision. Do you want to go off and try? Basically, there's something, I can't remember the name of it, but you basically go to sort of like not a competition, but where all the players go that have been released from pro clubs, and it's like a massive trial. You can't be signed on with a club at that point, so you have to cut your ties with the club, or you can stay with the club and they'll try and put you in line to other clubs, so like feeder clubs as such.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I decided at the time, thinking it would be the best position for me to stay at the club, continue playing at a good level, and hoping that Hull City would have then channeled me into other clubs. There wasn't a lot of other clubs that they would channel you to, and it probably wasn't the best decision in the end. I knew lads that went off to the trials. Loads of other clubs were there looking at the players, and they got taken contracts. Ended up playing at a decent level and playing pro now.
Yeah.
Again, not saying that if I'd have done that, I'm going to be a pro footballer.
Yeah.
But it had just given other options with that.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I got my contract. Had my meeting. They decided that they weren't going to take me on for a pro contract.
Yeah.
And then once my end of that season had come up, I left and then went and sort of played semi-pro level.
Yeah.
With the intention of still making it pro. I then did a sports coaching fitness and degree. Reverse a little bit more. Before that, should I say, I went to college and was studying like your sports coaching BTEC at the same time as training every day for a college, playing college football. So it was like that football professional environment still, in terms of training every day, playing a game once a week, while still playing at a semi-pro club. So I was trying to keep my levels of fitness, playing at a good standard, with the chance that it's going to be scouts that are going to pick me up because I'm playing a good level.
Yeah. Sounds full on, mate.
Yeah, and that's whilst obviously studying, working part-time. So I worked in Tesco, so it's like your Coles of Australia.
Yeah.
Did that part-time.
When you play semi-pro and you're saying that you get contracts, are you paid at that point or no?
You're paid, but it's not a lot of money. So you're talking around $100.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's travel and beer money.
Yeah.
After the game, you have a beer afterwards, and
Just one.
yeah. So yeah, it's not enough to live off, but definitely.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of pocket money.
Yeah.
At that level that I was at the point of leaving, just because you're a young lad, you're going into men's football, and it's still a good standard.
Yeah.
But you've gone from playing boys football to men's football, and they're getting paid more. You're there on the bench, and you're just getting that experience of playing that semi-pro football.
Yeah, fair enough. So you went from that, then you went into the sports coaching. How did you end up doing PT?
So, did the sports coaching in college. From that, I then followed it up with a degree. Again, the reason why I did the degree wasn't particularly because I wanted to do a degree. I'm not the most academic person, if I'm honest. I'm like a lot of PTs, quite hands-on, to be doing things.
What was the degree?
Sports coaching.
Right.
It was the same degree, but like the progression from the college course. The reason why I actually did that, I went to a college to do my degree because they offered like a scholarship. So I could, again, same process as college. I was training daily and then playing university football on the Wednesday. But I got money off my course because I was not too bad at football.
Yep.
So did my degree for 3 years. Again, it sort of worked well nicely in terms of keeping my level of fitness, level of sort of standard that I'm playing at, alongside playing semi-pro football, which was important to me because I still hadn't sort of given up that dream of being a footballer.
Yeah.
Did the degree. From that, I would like to say working at Tesco part-time. Once the degree had finished, I got a job in coaching, going into schools, teaching PE.
Cool.
Absolutely loved it. Like, really, really enjoyed it. It was primary school, so younger kids, but solely just teaching PE every day, doing after-school clubs, lunchtime clubs.
Because PE teaching is so different over there to what it is here. My brother worked over there as a PE teacher.
Okay.
And he was just coaching sport, whereas a PE teacher here, it's like maybe 25% coaching sport and then 75% in the classroom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's heavily sort of hands-on.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
sick. But yeah, what I think of a PE teacher is mostly in the classroom, and then every now and then, like, you get to go and play sport. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's what attracted me to it, though. The fact that it was so hands-on,
Yeah.
coaching, teaching kids,
Yeah.
not being stuck in the classroom as such.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I absolutely love that. I was doing that part-time.
Yeah.
Working at Tesco, going into schools through the day, working on the evening at Tesco, playing my football on the weekend, training twice a week. Pretty busy at that age. Wouldn't particularly want to be doing the amount of workload that I was doing back then now.
Yeah.
Definitely tailored it back a little bit. From that point, I sort of was deciding, do I want to do a degree in teaching? So going to being a proper school teacher as such.
Yeah.
The only sort of downside for that for me was if I wanted to be a PE teacher, it would be a case of going to a secondary school and doing it.
Yeah.
If I want to be a PE teacher in primary school, they don't have a specific role for that.
Yeah.
You would be just a general teacher,
Just
teaching all the subjects. And
yeah.
I didn't want to teach teenagers, to be honest. I'd had experience of doing it when I did my course, doing my degree and things. We're going in teaching in schools. I really enjoyed teaching younger children because they all just love it.
Yeah.
You get such a buzz from every kid wants to do it.
Yeah.
There's nobody that's sort of wanting to sit out. Secondary school, you get that little bit of friction.
Everybody's too cool.
Yeah, and I just wanted to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And again, I wanted to be sort of hands-on with just PE.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forwarding from then, I got a job at York University.
Mm-hmm.
This was basically a sports assistant job role. So what I basically did, it was a lot of reception work. They had massive facility, athletics track, big indoor arena, big gym, strength and conditioning gym, all sorts. Really good sports facility. So I was sort of a receptionist with the extent of going setting up badminton courts, doing all sorts, getting the javelin set up, everything that you can think of in a sports complex. We would do it. Absolutely loved it. Met some really good lads there. The team that we worked with was just really good. It got to a point where it wasn't really challenging me, and I wasn't doing what I loved doing in terms of I enjoyed coaching.
Yeah. Once you set up a volleyball court once,
It gets a little bit, yeah.
I used
The
to
excitement's gone.
Yeah, I used to do the same thing. I worked at our sports complex, but it was would have been much smaller, but every week I had to set the whole sports complex up with all the gymnastics equipment by myself, and there's like these just huge mats and like yeah,
The fun gets taken out of it.
Yeah, it was fun once or twice. I was like, cool, I'm getting paid to do this. And then after like a year, I was like, I want to kill myself. I need to get out of this.
And I think, like you say, that I wanted to go there, do that job because little things like getting free gym membership, having access to 3G football pitches, like just being in that sporting environment, that's what sort of grabbed me. The fact it was a full-time salary job, didn't have to do two jobs.
Yeah.
That's what sort of attracted me to it. And then from that point, part of the role was going to the gym, tidying the gym up. And there was always room for progression there in terms of getting qualifications.
Yeah.
So they knew that I was into my fitness, into sport. I ended up doing, I think it was my box fit and what else was it? Can't remember the other class I taught at that point. Anyway, I got my box fit certificate from working there, and just started teaching the box fit classes and doing covering. Absolutely loved it, and it sort of triggered me to think I want to be in the gym instead of sat in the reception.
Yeah.
Constantly talking to the guys that were in the gym. Some really good people that I've learned a lot of stuff off from there. Really attracted me to be wanting to be one of them and not being in the reception.
Yeah.
I was always training at the time. Training's never been something that I've absolutely loved, but I've always done it through playing sport, just for the performance side of it.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I sort of inquired through the uni if I could do my level 3. So I know the levels are a little bit different over here.
Yeah, because who was I talking to? Billy was saying it was a 2 and 3. Is it level
2 and
2?
3. Yeah. So you do your level 2, which is like your standard gym instructor.
Yeah.
Inductions, taking people around the gym.
Group training and stuff like that.
Yeah. A little bit pointless, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Did that just so that I could then do gym shifts as well. So I used to pick up extra gym shifts, just standing in the gym, tidying up.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was good because you're in that environment.
Yeah.
Opportunities to speak with people.
Yeah.
So I really found that I enjoyed and I wanted to work in that environment. So where was we? Yes.
And then you did the level 3?
Did the level 2, did the level 3, and then a role came up at the other complex within the university for a level 3 personal trainer, full time. Applied for that, got that position. That was a full-time salaried PT.
Cool.
Which was good because it gave me an opportunity to just experiment, essentially.
Yeah.
First year as a PT, the course that I did was pretty rubbish, if I'm honest.
Most of them are.
I came out of it thinking, what have I just done for the last 6 weeks? That's all it was. It was a 6-week course.
It's a hard one. I chatted. Did you listen to Tom Merriman's?
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's a hard one because that's what he does, or he did for a long time, was build that and deliver from someone else's company and then build that out. But it is a hard one because there's so much to learn in the industry, and you can only just scratch the surface with a entry level certificate because you just don't know. You don't have any context. You don't have any experience. But yeah, I think most people that do a Cert 3 or whatever the entry level is just like, that was not that great.
Honestly, I came out of it thinking I've now got to work with somebody and pretend I know what I'm on about.
Yeah.
But anyway, that year was really good because I just got hammered with clients.
Yeah.
I was back in England. Majority of places do hour-long sessions, whereas obviously here we do 40 minutes.
Yeah. What do you prefer?
I'd probably say 40 minutes, but at the same time, I liked the element of the 60-minute sessions with certain clients. And I think certain times suit certain clients, which is quite important specifically for what they want.
Yeah.
So again, I think it benefits certain people.
Yeah.
But overall, I'd probably choose the 40 minutes, get through more sessions in terms of being a little bit more switched on, because you'll know yourself, like long days of PTing people.
Yeah.
You can come to the end of the day and you're starting to switch off.
Yeah.
So having them 40-minute sessions it definitely works well in that respect.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
So that was a salary PT job, yeah?
yeah, salary PT, so it allowed me just to hammer sessions in, make my mistakes essentially, but surrounded by other PTs. There was 4 PTs there, teaching classes most mornings, going into back-to-back PT. So my day was pretty full, like a 9-hour shift. I'd have an hour and a half of my lunch, but apart from that, I was pretty much back-to-back, either teaching classes or working with clients, which I really enjoyed. I absolutely loved the first year. And it just gave me that incentive that I wanted to earn the money myself.
Yeah.
Because there was no incentive in terms of what I was doing. Like, yes, I'd do 8 sessions a day, 7, 8 sessions a day, but I wasn't getting anything more for doing that. There was other PTs that were doing 5, and we were both getting paid the same.
Yeah.
I didn't mind because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I'd rather be stood with the client training them
Yeah.
rather than stood around cleaning or whatever the other roles were.
It's a big thing as well too, because it's one of those things in the industry that people do their initial qualification and they're like, cool, I can charge a bunch of money, but you don't know anything. And if you were to be in any other job, you wouldn't be charging any amount of money, because realistically, when we get up to, PTs can charge close to, lawyer rates almost sometimes, or doctor rates, which is crazy. And it's cool when people put in the work, and that's definitely worth it, I think. But then when you come out of this, your entry level cert, your level 3, and you don't know anything, you need to do your time. And like you said,
100%.
just being in that environment, training people, you'll get better. The more sessions you do, if you like it, you'll improve.
You'll stick with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think, it's one thing that people come in and they're like, I should be making heaps of money. You shouldn't, because there's no other industry that you would be.
You've got to earn it, haven't you?
After 8-10 years of doing it, you're like, oh, cool, I should be making more money now, which is absolutely...
And it's warranted to the service you give, the
Yeah.
results you get for clients.
Yeah, and there's a big difference between someone who's been doing it for 1 year and someone who's been doing it for 8 and 10 and, whatever it might be. So you would then tell me, did you leave that job, or you left at some point?
So, I left basically after COVID. So
Okay.
COVID hit. I'd been in that job for I think maybe 2 or 3 years by this point.
Yeah.
When COVID happened, we went back, and I remember the first session was back in the gym. Obviously, with it being a university, it was quite strict in terms of everything that was happening within the gym.
Yeah.
We got told on our first day back, we got like taken round by the guy at the top, basically saying you have to walk around the gym continuously, and that you can't stop in certain areas, you can't talk, or you can talk but you can't stay in a certain area, and you have to just continually do laps of the gym.
How many
And
steps a day were you getting?
oh no, I didn't do it.
All right.
Honestly, I said, are you joking? Like, is this a joke?
Yeah.
Like, you want us to constantly walk around for 8 hours? Like, nah.
Yeah.
For me, that was it. I came out and I was like, I need to do this myself.
Yeah,
I'd got to a point where I was working 3 years there.
Yeah.
I had good clients that had stayed with me all through the 3 years. I knew that if I left and went on my own, I could take enough to get started on my own.
Yeah.
And again, something that quite influenced me actually was James Smith.
Oh, yeah.
So I know
Yeah.
quite a contradictive guy. Is that the right word?
Controversial.
Controversial.
He is.
But I read in COVID, I read his book.
Yeah. Which one? The Not a Life Coach?
It was Not a Life Coach, yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
And again, that sort of triggered me to question where I was at and what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I liked that because I thought, why am I not earning this money for myself?
Yeah.
And yeah, he sort of inspired me to make that leap, because worst case scenario, I go back and get another job in the gym. Like, it's not the end of the world if it doesn't work out.
And you never know if you don't have a crack at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The best thing to do is fail, because you're gonna improve from it.
Yeah.
So that changed my mentality in terms of wanting to fail.
Yeah.
I actually start to, like, now I don't mind failing.
Yeah.
Because I know that it's gonna benefit me.
That's it. And if you don't start, you'll never know anything.
Yeah.
So you'd never be successful and you never fail, but you certainly won't be successful.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. And then so how did that work out when you left?
Yeah. So through COVID, when we was basically what I did whilst working at the uni when we was in COVID was doing boot camps, because there was a stage where you could exercise outside before going back into the gyms.
Yeah.
So I actually just set up boot camps with all my clients and people that I knew at the gym, because I've been there for 3 years. I had a good group of clients that I knew would get on board with it, because they were just obviously missing out through COVID. That worked really well. I was doing it twice a week, making a little bit of money on the side. And that was sort of the trigger as well when we came back and said that for the next X amount of weeks, you're just going to be walking around. I thought, let's do this myself. Yeah. I've got enough clients. So I started up the boot camp as a regular. So I knew I had that sort of income coming in, doing 2 sessions a week, doing that. Getting anywhere from 10 to 20 people.
Cool.
And I love doing that. I love teaching classes.
Yeah.
That's something that I miss doing, to be honest.
I guess that's that sort of group environment, like your PE teaching and your sports coaching and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that I do love, working in, like, teams and groups.
Yeah.
So yeah, got that started, and then I got in touch with my clients that were at the gym saying I'm looking at leaving. If I was, would you consider coming to another gym? Got set up with another gym, a private gym in York, and sort of transferred there, just paid rent. Started off with maybe about 10 clients, doing multiple sessions a week with me, plus the teaching classes.
Mm-hmm.
I also taught classes in the new gym that I started, which was a really good way of just bringing in new clients.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, you'll know yourself. It really helped in terms of just building my client base up.
Yeah.
I had my 10 clients, plus doing my boot camps, teaching classes like spin. Absolutely love spin.
Yeah.
Big fan of that. So yeah, did that, built my client base up through the private gym, and worked there for maybe 3 years, up until sort of coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was around that time. But absolutely loved it there. Like, it was really, really good group in terms of the guy that owned it. He was just a really good guy to work under in terms of paying rent.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it was a small gym. Wasn't like nothing like the size of the gyms that we're at here with one playground. But I really liked it because it's a real sort of like family feel to it.
Yeah.
Everybody knew everybody. Like it was a really good sort of community aspect to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, sort of went totally freelance with it at that point. So teaching classes and working one-to-one.
Yeah, cool. And then how did you end up here?
So we actually meant to come here before COVID.
Yeah.
Just because I've got a couple of friends that live out here. One lives up in Noosa, one's in Sydney.
Yeah.
Quite close friends, well, very close. So that was what triggered us to want to come out because it sort of raved about all the time, seeing everything on social media. So
Constantly summer.
yeah, constantly summer, like winter here. I'm not having it. Not having it at all.
You know what, mate? Some of the people that complain the most about it that I know, they're all English. About the cold.
Can't get used to it.
They're like, it shouldn't be cold. It's Australia. It's still getting
Honestly,
winter.
like, I could not believe it last year when it was probably similar time to this when it's starting to drop a little bit.
Yeah.
People were wearing like coats and scarves.
Yeah.
And I'm walking around in like shorts.
Yeah.
Shorts and t-shirt.
Yeah, just fine.
But I'm a bit of a sweater, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, but it's a funny thing. I don't know. It's as if the weather is not allowed to change from 20 something degrees in Sydney. Just everybody in Sydney has agreed upon it, particularly from the CBD or inner west to the eastern suburbs. Like, it's not allowed to. Just, it's not.
not having it.
But yeah, it's a funny one here in Sydney.
Yeah, I can't get my head around it because
It's fine.
I'm looking forward to the winter here because it's just nice not to have it blaring all the time.
Yeah.
Still blue skies,
Yeah.
sunny days, but just a little bit fresher.
Yeah. Well, I think the average temperature, and I could be wrong, but I could actually have a look at it. I think the average temperature in winter here in Sydney is 20 degrees. So
England summer
yeah.
tops off in 20 degrees.
I say that to Mel. She absolutely hates it.
Honestly, we went to, where was it? We was in, I think, Brisbane.
Yeah.
And it must have been 28, 29 degrees.
Yeah.
Like absolutely roasting. This was like early stages of us being here.
Yeah.
I'm walking around with my top off, and the amount of people that would look at me like disgusted in me because I've got my top off, but obviously a little bit more probably because they're worried about skin and with the sun and things like that. But I couldn't believe it. Like nobody had the tops off.
Yeah.
Everybody's like wearing like long sleeve, and I'm like, this is just crazy.
Yeah. Where'd you say that was in Gold Coast?
Brisbane.
Brisbane, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Well, actually, sorry, just having a look at it now. In winter, the average temperature is 17, which is not that cold.
no.
But the average temperature in summer, and well, this makes sense why people get annoyed when it gets hot, is like 26, 25, 23. So it's like Sydney's not a hot place compared to.
Yeah.
But-
yeah. Oh no, compared to everywhere else in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as soon as it gets like close to 40, everybody loses
Yeah.
it. And as soon as it gets close to 70,
Either way.
everybody loses it. It's just not allowed to be. But you know, on average, it has the same rainfall, I'm pretty sure, similar as London
Oh really?
per year,
Okay.
but just in a few days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I really like about Sydney. Like I thought, because I love the sun. Like that's the biggest reason why I'm here because I just
Yeah.
love the weather. Love being outside.
I don't know how you do it over there.
And yeah, that's the thing. And then coming here, when people said like, where do you want to live? Where do you want to base yourself? I didn't think Sydney was going to be the spot we would because I thought it's not going to be nice all year round, and that's what we wanted. But even when it's not nice, I'm
not-
more than happy with it.
Yeah, it's not that
Like-
bad. It gets a bit windy here, but it doesn't ever get really bad.
But then you look forward to summer because you've got that little bit of
Yeah.
wind, little bit of fresh mornings,
Yeah.
and then you're excited again for summer.
Yeah, and vice versa as well. It's nice sometimes when it is that little bit cold, although not as cold as
Yeah.
you would experience. But because I don't think it ever gets close to zero here in Sydney.
No,
No.
yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, but people absolutely not having any deviation in the weather here in Sydney. It's so funny. Mel's mum will tell us when it's like gets close to 40 degrees here in Sydney, and then it's on the news in England.
Yeah, another level.
Yeah, it's quite crazy. So, and that sort of brings us up to where we're at now, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and then so you were traveling around Australia. How long were you traveling around Australia for?
Around a year,
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah, we started up in Port Douglas.
Yeah.
We had to get our farm work, so I worked in a cafe.
Yep.
Just because after COVID they needed that industry.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah,
everybody left.
Yeah, it was mad. Like when we were sort of like the first sort of people back in the country in terms of like your working holiday.
Yeah.
Went straight into cafe work for 3 months to get a second year visa.
Yep.
Really enjoyed that. It was a lot of drinking and eating though. Like I still trained, but working in that industry, it was good because it gave me an insight into how easy it was to fall into bad habits.
Yeah, true.
Again, we were working holiday visa, so it was a little bit different. Like you'd finish work and you would straight away be like 3 beers after.
Yeah.
You're not gonna say no to 3 beers, bright sun. Like it had to be done.
Yeah, for sure.
So we definitely enjoyed the 3 months of working there. And then we bought a camper van.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was sick.
Nice.
Best thing we did.
Yeah, cool. We've got one as well.
Yeah, no, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks so good. Like it just gives you so much freedom of
Yeah.
seeing more things.
Yeah.
Like we looked at originally doing the Greyhound bus,
Yeah, okay.
which I think would have been the worst thing.
Yeah, buses,
Yeah.
mate, they're so shit.
No, it's mad. Like we decided then once we'd done the 3 months, we travelled down the East Coast, took it really slow.
Yeah,
Went inland a little bit,
yeah,
saw so much.
yeah.
Genuinely, probably one of the best years we've had.
That's it.
It was just mad, like
Two,
just another world.
two of my mates that used to work here at one playground or fitness playground back in the day, they did. That's what they do. They do van life essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they make content and stuff like that. But they went. Both of one went north and then one went south, and then they both went around the country, and yeah, they love it. Just seeing so much more of Australia than you do of Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne.
Just seeing the main spots. Yeah.
Yeah. Where was your favourite spot along the way, or favourite spots?
Definitely up north.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to pinpoint a particular place because so many different places had different things that we loved.
Yeah.
We did is it the Tablelands in up near Cairns?
Yeah.
Some real sort of really remote lake areas, just real beautiful, quiet places.
Yeah.
But then you go see some unbelievable beaches. I don't know. It'd be
Just seeing it all is quite cool.
yeah.
Hey?
And again, like we just little scenarios where we went off track, and next minute kangaroos trumping out, and we're just like we can't believe it. Like for us, like even now when I see them,
Yeah.
I love it. Like
Mate, they're
it's
mad.
so
Hey?
good.
Yeah, they are such an odd animal. Hey, and amazing.
And some of the side, like the one that when we first ever saw one, just driving down this like little road, like nearly we got stuck on the road in our camper as well,
Yeah.
which was a nightmare.
Yeah.
But it was fun at the same time.
Yeah.
Next minute, honestly, it must have been like 6-7 foot, massive kangaroo just came hopping across, and then like 6 others just following.
Yeah.
And it was just like one of the moments, like that's
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
Especially coming over from England, like that's what you want to see, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. And you just don't experience that when you're in the city.
Yeah,
I
that's
think-
what we miss a little bit.
Yeah. Just you can still get out here in Sydney, but it's just not the same as you just see so much
Yeah.
more stuff when you're out, and particularly the wildlife and things like that. Have you seen many snakes?
Yeah, probably. Well, I say, yeah, 7 or 8.
Yeah. Okay.
And we again, like now I miss it.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, I thought about getting therapy before coming out because I can't deal with spiders.
Right.
Like I'm a big girl when it comes to
You see
spiders.
that one in the
Yeah.
thing.
Staying well away from
Yeah.
that.
That one doesn't. That one.
Yeah, I know, but it's the size of it. I don't. I'm not bothered about the little ones that can kill. I'm bothered about the big ones that move quick. Huntsman. But so things like that with the snakes, like at first I was like, I don't know, I don't walk anywhere.
Yeah.
And then the more we got used to it, like you actually start looking for them.
Yeah.
Because we want to see them, just because it's like I had a friend over a couple of weeks ago, and he's petrified of like snakes and spiders and things like that. And I said honestly, like when you see one, you'll look for them and you want to see more.
Yeah.
And I said that's what I miss about Sydney is that we live right next to Sydney Park, and I want to be able to walk out and see a snake there.
Like, yeah.
So you weirdly miss it, and people just don't get that.
No, but you've probably seen more snakes than I've ever seen in my life, and I grew up in the bush.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen a fair few.
Yeah. Because they say that they're more scared of you than you are of them, and that's why they'll bite you, which makes us scared of them.
Yeah.
They will hear you coming and scurry off pretty quickly. So you've probably
Before
been,
you even get there.
yeah, you've probably been so
Yeah.
close to so many before,
Yeah.
but then they just take off. But do you know what kind of snakes you saw?
Red belly.
Yep.
We saw red belly at the bottom of a waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
We think it was an eastern brown.
Yeah, stay away from them.
Yeah, so it was funny. We actually got it on video. Driving down like a sort of a farm type road. Next minute, I was like, because we're looking out every time we're driving, we're like seeing if we can see something different. We was like, that's definitely a snake up there. So like we slowed off a little bit and it basically moved out the way. So we was like, right, let's turn around, go and look at it because we were a little bit obsessed with them.
Yeah.
As we drove back, we had the window down, but like only that much because we're still thinking it's going to jump up and come through. As we were going really slow, it went up into like the S shape, and we managed to get it on video. But like that was just it was mad, and it was obviously their second deadliest, is it?
Yeah, they're most deadliest. They're top two. I think is it the cobra that's the most deadliest, or
Is it?
No, taipan.
I don't know.
Well, I think we have the top two most deadliest in the world
Yeah.
here. I think the taipan is one. Let's have a look. And definitely the eastern brown.
But I just think that it's like really fascinating to see them.
Mate, they're so cool.
I love it.
They're so
Obviously
cool.
at a distance.
Yeah, taipan, then black mamba, king cobra. I think the taipan is, and it's in Australia. Yeah, so don't stand on that one.
Yeah, no.
Then there's
avoid
a
them.
death adder as well too. Have you seen them?
No.
Those ones you can't see. They almost just look like a pile of leaves. I'll show you.
Seen a few pythons.
Yeah,
But they're
they're
meant to be bad.
harmless. Yeah. Here you go. These ones can look just like a pile of leaves. That one. If it's lying in.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could easily mistake that, couldn't you?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah, stay away from them, man, because they coil up as well too, and just sit there. Yeah. So you've probably been near a few of those as well too. Yeah, cool. So and then you're at fitness program, mate. So let's get onto that, and we've talked about a lot of you, which is good. Backstory is really, really good, and it gives a bit of context to kind of why you do what you do. So tell us a little bit about who are the clients you work with now, and who you most enjoy working with, and what you do.
So in person, pretty sort of broad with the type of clients I work with. I'm happy and I enjoy working with all different levels. In terms of my online, so I like to focus on mainly working with guys that want to lose weight and just generally increase confidence
Cool.
through a gym format and sort of working on the lifestyle, behavior side of it and outside of the gym.
Yep.
Yeah, in person, I'd probably say I'm more edge to people that are not that confident in the gym. Probably a little bit reversing back to when I first started and going through different sort of coaches or been in different scenarios where I would have liked somebody like myself because I feel like I've sort of grown myself to help my older self.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I think a lot of PTs sort of go through that process depending on what the goal is.
Yeah.
So I quite enjoy working with people that are new to the gym.
Yep.
If I'm being really honest, I probably wouldn't want to work with somebody that is very, very brand new.
Yeah.
I say I wouldn't want to work with them. I've got many clients that have first time stepped in the gym with me.
Yeah.
And I do like that because you see such a big progression.
Yeah.
But my ideal perfect client was somebody that's got a little bit of experience in the gym, but still lacking getting results from the gym. So just going through bits that they're probably not familiar with and just increasing the confidence. They're probably the type of people that use the gym but don't know how to use a barbell.
Yeah.
Don't do big compound lifts. They just go from bits of kit to
Yeah.
another. So that's my ideal type of clients I like working with. In terms of, I quite enjoy the aspect of health and fitness away from the gym, but using the gym to help them with everything outside of it.
Yeah, cool. That's really, really
yeah.
cool. I think I really like the perspective, and we've chatted kind of before in the gym about how those habits and behaviors, because that's such a big thing. If someone doesn't change those things, they're not going to get the result at the end of the day.
Massively.
What tell us some of the things that you do with your online clients to help them with that. What do you focus on?
So with my online, again, it's everything that you would receive with in-person training.
Yep.
So designing training programs, setting nutrition targets, but it's delving into the 23 hours outside of the hour that they're spending in the gym.
Yeah.
Because ultimately that's going to have more an effect on the type of clients that I want to work with in terms of weight loss.
Yeah, for
They
sure.
can come to the gym 24 hours in the day, but they're not going to get the weight loss if they're not doing the right things outside of it.
Yes.
And that's something that I quite enjoy working with, just because there's so much content, so many answers online. But I think everything gets complicated for a marketing sort of
Purposes, yeah.
purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I think leading back a little bit to how I learn, I've always enjoyed it when people have like broken things down and made it in a real simple format.
Yeah.
It's just easy to actually do themselves without having to worry too much about the science behind things.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much out there, like we mentioned, that I like to make it easy for clients.
Yeah.
Whether that's how to do a deadlift, how to do a squat, or generally how to lose weight in the simplest manner possible.
Yeah.
Because I think, again, people get sort of lost in all the information out there.
Yeah.
I want to come across to make it as easy as possible for them to take the information in.
Yeah, for sure. That's a massive thing. Hey, there's so much information out there, and there's some of it that is misinformation and just is overcomplicated, and people just miss the mark so much with a lot of things because they're trying to almost get too complex. And there's that almost paralysis by analysis. And
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, there's all these things I should be doing, but you're doing none of them, or you're trying to do the most advanced thing, whether it be in the gym or with the food, when it's like, if you just probably nailed a couple of the basics, you would end up getting the result that you want and make it so much easier for yourself. What are some of the things that you focus on when you are making that simple? How do you make that simple for the client?
So in terms of like training, the way that I work as a coach, I want to make it as simple as possible. Again, everything that I do, I try and make it simple for the client, because the simpler it is to follow, the more likely they're going to be able to sustain that for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of people in the gym feel they have to be fully in the gym in terms of they need to be training 5 times a day, 5 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
an hour and a half in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I like to strip it back and sort of work on habits.
Yeah.
I'm not too bothered with clients how long they spend in the gym, what they're actually doing in the gym. It's more about creating that habit of making that habit.
Yeah.
So again, a lot what I want to do with my online clients is, and again, in person as well, looking at what their week is like. How can we make it easy for them to get to the gym, but not doing it for them? So getting them to understand where they can fit the gym in, how they can make the process easier themselves. Because I think it's all well and good somebody or a coach telling you what to do. They need to understand, and they need to be able to find the solution themselves. And I feel that my job is to just help guide them with it.
Yeah.
So massively looking at planning the weeks. I think a lot of people fail because they don't plan.
Yeah.
And having a backup if the plan doesn't go to plan.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Because it never goes to plan.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
As soon as it doesn't, the majority of people panic, and then they just let it crumble. Have 2 weeks, 3 weeks off.
Yeah, when you have the client like, oh, this is not normal that this happened. It's not normal that that incident happened or that situation happened. And that, yeah, but then if you have, 5 weeks of stacking up these not normal situations or more, it's normal that these things happen.
100%. Yeah, but I think they don't always know that that's okay.
Yeah,
and I think just having that reassurance as somebody that's been and done it,
Yeah.
or that's doing it as well, is just, it gives them that confidence that it's fine, it's okay.
Yeah.
I've missed a session, don't worry about it. I've not hit my calories.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like they look for short-term wins too much, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And also at the end of the day, I think everybody is capable of doing it. Just about anybody has probably tried something, whether, work is a really, really good example for most people. Most people are probably not late to work or miss days at work. So they have that ability to get out of bed, show up to an appointment or whatever it might be. It's like you have all the necessary skills there or attributes, but it's just channeling and honing it and making it a bit more aware of like, let's plan your week and then let's have a backup plan as well too, because it's not going to go that way. But then probably what you start to see as well is like, people have this idea in their head of, oh, my week has to be planned perfect, but I always miss the session on these 2 days. Okay, don't plan it then.
Yeah.
Just go with the backup plan, because the backup plan's working better.
100%. Yeah.
You know.
And it, like you say, they focus on what they've set out to do sometimes a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Without having that little bit of flexibility. And I think that's such a big thing with, especially nutrition, like they need to have that flexibility. Yeah, fair enough. If you're competing, you've got to be a lot stricter with working your macros and being very tight with what you're doing. The average human being doesn't need that. Like every client that I work with, and that's why I like working with the clients that I do, because they can have flexibility based on their lifestyle.
Yeah.
If they like to go out on the weekend and enjoy food and drink, that's fine, but you need to know how to manage that through the week to be able to give you that sort of freedom to do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's understanding the whys behind everything as well.
Yeah, and it is managing it at the end of the day as well. Our job is to try and make it as simple as we can for them, but it can't be it can't be to the point where they just don't do anything. You have to manage it. There has to be some work there. You have to make that attempt to change the behavior. Otherwise, which is obviously not what you're saying, that don't do that, but it's like managing it, because if you don't manage it, then it's going to go in the direction that you don't want to go.
100%.
You know.
Yeah, and like you say, you don't want to. You want to manage it so that you can still live the life that you live, but also understand the consequences if you don't manage it.
Yeah.
And just understanding behaviour of how your behaviour affects where you're at right now compared to where you actually want to get to.
Yeah.
And what behaviours we need to slightly adjust just to help you get there a little bit quicker. But again, I'm massive on making it sustainable.
Yeah.
I'd much rather it take somebody 6-12 months to get where they want to get than do it in 3 months. Yes, it's doable. We know that, but are you going to lose out on a lot of things that you love and you enjoy doing?
Yeah.
Probably. Is that going to be worth the result?
Yeah.
And I think for the majority of people, and again, the type of people that I work with, is they want a result of weight loss. They want to be confident. They want to be using the gym and actually getting results from it. But they don't need to pull back everything. Because a lot of people will be just like, right, I need to stop drinking. I need to stop going out for food. I need to be in the gym 5 times a week. It doesn't need to be like that.
No.
Like, I'm a coach myself, and I often say to my clients, like, I don't like the gym.
Yeah.
And I genuinely don't. I'm not a big lover of the gym.
Yeah.
But I train 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Because of the benefit I get from doing it. But I don't go in thinking I can't wait to train today. I genuinely I really don't like it. and a lot of clients are quite surprised by that because, oh, you're a PT. Like, I just love how the gym has such an effect on your life.
Yes.
And without the gym, like, I'm a different person.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm such a big advocate of getting the gym involved in people's lives.
Yeah.
Whether it's training 30 minutes a day or training an hour and a half. For me, it's the benefits you get mentally, physically. It all just builds up, and I think it makes people better people from training.
Yeah, and like you said, that big thing that you like to focus on is the confidence. And if you're going in and you're executing on the plan that you've set, maybe your plan B, and you are being successful at that just starts to feed itself, that you can go in, you can make that change, you have ownership over it, you have power to change that, and then you get confident, and the more you do it, one of the quotes that Danny said the other day is, competence builds confidence. So the more you go through that process of managing it and then getting that result, then it has that carryover to everything outside of your life, which is quite cool. So tell me, client comes to you, what are the top 3 things that you would focus on, or the first couple of things you would focus on with them?
So again, it's all about, as you know, like delving to find out what their actual goal is and the reason why they want to get there.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to lose weight, but it's why do you want to lose weight?
Yeah.
And really delve in like how it makes that client feel when they're in the position they are.
Yeah.
And I think a really important part of like the onboarding process that I do online, more so online than I do in person, but is actually finding out exactly why they want to achieve what they want to achieve. Because I think it's all and good that they want to lose weight or they want to bench 100k.
Yeah.
I think they need to know why, because it'll make the process easier for them,
Mm-hmm.
especially in scenarios where they don't want to eat the right foods or they don't want to go to train that day. If they can understand the real reason why they want to do it, it's just going to make it so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I do tend to give examples of other clients of scenarios that they've done, but from my point of view, I know I won't miss a gym session because the reason why I train is really strong in
Mm-hmm.
terms of I feel so good when I walk out the gym. I don't enjoy going in, don't particularly enjoy it that much whilst I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But the second I've finished it, my day is 100 times better.
Yeah.
I'm so much more productive. I feel more confident. Like genuinely, everything is better when I've been to the gym.
Yeah.
So that's my goal. That's my reason why I train,
Yeah.
and it makes it so easy to train
Yeah.
because I know why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So reverting back a little bit, yeah, just it's really important to find out the reason they want to achieve the goal
Mm-hmm.
and actually knowing how to get to that goal.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say like a massive part of it is the goal setting side of it. All well and good, you want to bench 60k or 100 kg. How are we going to get you there? And actually tapering it backwards
Mm-hmm.
and not just having this goal that's up here, but no plan to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
So creating a plan of how they're going to achieve the goal and going through it with them and asking for their feedback and their ideas on how we can do it. Because I don't think it should come all from me just telling them. It's got to be me sort of guiding them. Obviously, if they're going to say, well, let's work on my shoulder press or let's work on we need to know that we're guiding them in the right direction. But I want input from the client. And I think that's really important because they are going to start to understand the process more.
Yeah.
If they understand it, they're more likely to adhere to it. And then they're going to get better results.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit of giving them the knowledge and helping them along the way of understanding why they want to achieve that goal.
Yeah.
And creating a plan.
Well, that feeds the confidence as well too. Is once you take ownership over it and then you understand the process, the more knowledge you have there, the more power you have over that situation.
Yeah.
And then it's not this elusive thing to get in shape and lose weight. It's like, cool, here's that plan. These are the things you need to do. These are the things that we've come up with together to allow you to get there, which makes a massive, massive difference.
Yeah.
On the nutrition side or on the habit side, what are some of the things that you focus on?
So again, it's like I mentioned, try and keep everything really simple.
Yep.
It's no sort of special thing that we work on. Working on activity levels depending on what job they're in.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think I did a post the other day about it in terms of setting step targets.
Mm-hmm.
Really important, easy way. Again, revert back again. I always try and make things easy. So how can we get them to the result of, let's say, losing weight? If we can increase their activity in the easiest manner possible, it's going to help them get there. So trying to create ways within the week to increase steps. When I talk about steps, I always speak about like, there's this 10,000 steps you need to do. I don't really think that's the number they need to work at. It's going to be based on the person.
Yeah.
Like everything. Whatever the goal you're working to, where are you at the minute?
Relative
Let's
to that,
work
yeah.
to that. So just rewind again the question. So it was about how the new...
So what are some of the things you do to help them work on their habits and behaviors?
Okay, so first of all, we get the clients to track the food.
Mm-hmm.
So important, and I think everybody that tracks for the first time understands why I get them to track or why coaches get people to track the food, just because seeing it on paper or seeing it on your phone, you realise where your calories are coming from and you realise, actually, shit, I didn't know that there was 600 calories in this.
Yeah.
And it's just opening people's, how can I say it? Just giving them the tools to be able to understand where they're potentially going wrong
Yeah.
or where they need to pull things back to get on track.
Yeah.
And just giving them that sort of understanding with it.
That's a massive one. Hey, you'd never take, not never, but finances is usually an easy one for people to understand. It's like if you're going to budget, you probably have a look at how much is coming in, how much is going out. Are you spending too much money a month on Netflix, or are you spending it on just random shit that you don't need? Do you need to buy that extra thing and whatever? So you look at those components or those expenditures, and then you're like, oh cool, well, and I've got this much coming in. And then you'll do the math on that. nutrition is the same sort of way. It's a funny thing. I understand why people don't want to get caught up in the numbers of it, because technically speaking, we shouldn't really be. Nutrition isn't so much about the numbers, but we have to have some unit of measurement.
Yeah.
And just once you understand energy balance and calories and macronutrients a little bit more, then it just like it opens up so much more.
Allows them to just progress.
Yeah. And you know, oh cool, well I know that these foods I probably should eat most of the time, but also this food over here that is, you know, bad is not now bad. Have it. It's
Yeah.
fine. You
There's
know?
no like, yeah, and again, that's something that's no bad food.
No, that's the thing. You know, there's probably some that aren't going to make you feel good all the time, you know, and some that are probably a little bit more efficient in terms of hunger levels and, you know, energy and stuff like that. But have the pizza, have whatever
Yeah.
it is. If you understand the energy balance, then there's no issue there.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine.
And that's it. Just, I say to clients that we're going to get you to try it, but it's not something you're going to do forever.
No.
Like, it is just a tool to understand where foods are, or where your calories are coming from, and give you a bit of understanding about the basics of nutrition.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people, they don't really take time to find out.
Yeah.
So they just sort of, they don't track because they can't be bothered.
Yeah.
But then once they have tracked, it gives them that understanding. Then they know that whether what they're eating is having an effect on them.
Yeah.
And they don't have to. They don't need to track. Once you've done it for a good period of time, you can look at a plate of food and you can work it out. Yes, it's not going to be accurate perfectly, but it isn't even when you're tracking. So it's just to understand and give you a bit of, right, I know 80% is good in my diet, 20% is not so good, or that week's 30% is bad. Like, let's just pull it back a little bit next week because you've had a big weekend because had a party or whatever it has happened, and it's just understanding from their. He's trying to get the client to understand why they're in the position they are and how they can get out of it.
Yeah. And it provides that roadmap really, really easily as well too, because even sometimes it can be, a client might be over consuming calories because they don't understand calorie, you know, energy balance and macronutrient things like that. But I've had quite a few clients recently that they're massively under consuming calories, you know, and it's like, well, we need to get you to
Didn't realize,
yeah, as you know, if you're 80 something kilo male and you're eating 1,500 calories a day, that's probably, that's probably why you can't lose weight. And even though you're in a massive calorie deficit, then that's actually probably the bottleneck. And we probably need to get you to eat 2,500 calories a day. But it can be easy, just it can be super simple in that, okay, just calorie deficit, your boy James Smith, calorie fucking deficit, which is it's a thing.
It's the science of behind it, isn't it?
But then, you know, if you have someone that doesn't eat a whole lot for the most of the time, their metabolism is going to downregulate massively, and then they're not going to move much and all those sorts of things.
And that's it. It's just giving them, or it's helping them understand it.
Yeah.
So we want you in a deficit, but we also want you to feel full.
Yes.
We don't want you being in a deficit from eating chocolate, crisps, and sandwiches, because you're not going to get very far with it. Your training's going to be affected.
Yes.
It's just trying to start on, let's solve the main issue, the quantity you're having, then look at how can we make it better what you're having, give you different choices.
Yeah.
And again, I'm massive on, I'm not going to set meal plans for people.
Yeah.
It's got to work within their lifestyle.
Yeah.
And they've got to enjoy it. Like, I absolutely love my food. Like, I love a pizza. I love burgers. Everything. I'll eat everything.
Yeah.
But it's managing it and not having too much of the bad stuff. But I think people don't understand where the sort of levels are with it.
Yeah.
And again, it's just once you've sorted that calories out in terms of getting them down to a point, it's then a case of, right, now we've got that habit, you're eating the right amount. Now we want you to start eating more, but keeping it at that level by eating the better choice foods to give you more energy so that you're performing better in the gym, so that you feel better, you're not tired.
Yeah.
And I think, again, every coach is probably different how they do it, but I tend to start by just getting them into a deficit. Again, they come to you because they want a result.
Yeah.
We want to show them they can get results in the early stages, so I want to get them into that deficit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as soon as we're starting to see that they're getting a result, that's when we then want to start working on the quantity, not quantity, the content of food that you're having, and then that's looking at, right, how can we make you fuller for longer? How can we get you in a deficit, but actually do that by eating more food?
Yeah. Because that's a funny thing, isn't it? In that everybody's gone, though, you need to eat more food to get leaner. Yes, to a certain extent, but what that actually is not more pizzas and more burgers, and instead of having one burger, have two burgers.
But people don't want to. They don't want to know that, do they? They
No,
just
no,
want to
no.
know I can eat more.
More. Which, I guess, it's eating more, ideally more nutrient-dense foods and having leaner proteins. Well, not necessarily just leaner proteins, but good sources of protein. And then, filling up on those things, and then you're less likely to eat the other things. But it doesn't mean that you can't eat the other things as well, too. And that's a big thing with being able to build someone's diet. It's not just about eat more pizza. Not just that the example that's been thrown around. But also, then once you understand that as well too, have the pizza. Like, go for it.
I genuinely encourage my clients to have it. Do you know what I mean? I don't want them thinking they can't enjoy food and be in a position where they're comfortable and happy. Like, it's doable.
Yeah.
It's more than doable. You just need to get yourself into a position where you actually understand. And again, I think Jim Smith uses this analogy, but and you sort of briefly mentioned it, the bank balance.
Yeah.
Think of it like that to start with in terms of getting you into a deficit.
Yeah.
And then work on the quality of the food that you're having to make you feel better.
Yeah.
We can lose your weight really, really quickly.
Yeah.
You can feel shit for it.
Absolutely.
Or we can do it in a manner that you feel better and you're starting to lose weight, but it might take a little bit longer because you're experimenting with different foods that you potentially haven't been having.
Yeah.
But again, I think people don't always know that they can actually eat more and lose weight. Like you say, they eat more in terms of the wrong stuff, and it's just giving clients the understanding and the knowledge of what foods are nutrient dense and what can actually help them.
Yeah, and I think as well is when I've had it recently with clients that are more on the under eating side, and it's like, oh, I can't get leaner. I can't eat that amount of food that you want me to build up to. But then on the flip side, they'll go most of the week, and it's quite a common one. And I've definitely been in this standpoint or position before where I would go super strict during the week and too low, and then the weekends there's just that massive blowout, which we know when we manage, you can cut a couple of days down a little bit lower and then have a little bit higher, and that average is going to be a thing. But oftentimes, particularly if someone is eating on a daily basis a lower amount, but then what's happened on the weekends, if you have that weight to lose, more times than not, you are going over at a certain point. And that's fine. It's just that level of consistency. And oftentimes when you get someone in a deficit, but maybe not a severe deficit as they were before, and they're eating more nutrient-dense foods, they've got, more decent complex carbohydrates and things like that, and good proteins, they're less likely to probably crave those other foods so much. So you start
It's the little tactics, isn't it?
Yeah, and you start to get more of a level playing field than this massive up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And then the ups become more up and bigger, and then the downs become lower and lower and lower, and it's a vicious cycle. I know I've been there before. And the more you do that as well too, just it seems like, well, it's not working, nothing works. I've eaten the calorie deficit, but what's happening on the other side of that calorie deficit? If you have that weight to lose, objectively speaking, you have to probably have been in a surplus at a point.
But again, like, for us talking about it, like, it seems fairly obvious. But for a lot of people, and like for me myself, that like before I sort of got into and enjoying this side of it, like I used to think in terms of losing weight. I was adamant when I was younger that it doesn't matter, it's how much exercise you do. It's nothing to do with eating. Like, just, I play football, I play tennis, I do everything, I train every day. Like, it's about the exercise. It's nothing to do with the food. And just silly little things like that, where we think they're potentially silly now because you just get into that mindset every day of working in the industry with it. But people don't always understand that. And like simple things such as calorie deficit, people don't even understand that still. Even though it's so big in terms of social media now, it's so easy to understand it. And like you say, Jim Smith bangs on about calorie deficit, but people don't always understand the the information behind that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. And how yes, calorie deficit absolutely works, but how big is that calorie deficit? How long are you going to be in that calorie deficit? Because if you go too long and too severe, then you get, you know, for lack of better description, a lot of metabolic downregulation, and then you get into that spot where you can't lose weight, nothing works. You feel like shit. You got no energy. You move less. Your brain's barely working.
That's it though. People do it.
Yeah.
Like they'll drop to 1,000 calories. Yeah, they're gonna lose weight, but what about all the other effects that
Yeah.
happens with it?
Yeah.
So he's trying to, like, again, I always sort of bang on about doing it in the right manner.
Yeah.
And that's what I sort of hold myself as one of sort of my morals with coaching clients. I'd much rather you spend longer doing the process, enjoy it,
Yeah.
and feel better along the way than just get to that result
Yeah.
by absolutely starving yourself,
Yeah.
feeling shit, and then everything else is affected because you've not done it in the correct manner.
Yeah,
So-
and you're so much more likely to blow out on the other end of it as well too, and then all your work's undone really, really quickly. It's not, but it doesn't benefit you in any way.
They've not created any sustainable habits, have they?
No.
And it's, again, that's what I sort of try and work with my clients is working at certain things at a time. I don't want to tell them to do absolutely everything at once.
Yeah.
It's trying to think about the one that's most important to that client.
Yeah.
Like, is it being in a deficit that's most important to them right now? Or is it working on concentrating on the sleep, for example, so that then that has a knock-on effect on the training, which then they then start eating better because of the training. It's a lot of it is figuring out the person's lifestyle and how they work.
Yeah.
Because some people, you can't just set a plan for one person
Yeah.
compared to another because they might deal with it. Them, if they train in the gym, they eat really well. And it's like we need to sort of figure out where their triggers are and work around that, but also teaching them and helping them along the way with it.
Yeah, and go for the lowest hanging fruit that's going to get you that result, because
and then work on the next one.
Yeah, and like you said, with the steps, if the lowest hanging fruit might be just add 2,000 steps a day, and that's a change relative to that person. If they've gone from 4,000 to 6,000 or whatever it is, they don't need to go to 10,000 because then that's just going too
Burn
far.
them out.
Yeah, that's the thing, and you want it to be sustainable long term, and having it, what do you want to feel in a year's time, as opposed to, do you just want to be tired for tired's sake in 12 weeks' time? Because we could get you there. I'm sure that you're probably not going to be happy with it. You'll be tired, and I think that's one thing as well. It's obviously depending on how hard you want to go with it. If you do want, depending on how hard you want to go with it, but the goal is not to be tired. Being tired is a byproduct at a certain extent, but some clients just, people think they have to feel like shit.
They have to burn themselves out.
Yeah.
We want you to be energized at the end of it.
Yeah. And the further you get in, if you're starting to get to, if you really want to push to get to seriously low levels of body fat, yes, at it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't feel like shit.
No.
If you do,
question.
Yeah, your approach, and that's why our job exists, is because we are experts in that area of nutrition. Well, we can't claim nutritionists, but that's what we deal in, and then exercise, and then the habits and the behaviors, and it's obviously easy for us to conceptualize because, again, we talk about it all day, and that's our expertise. But I guess that's the whole point of why our job exists, and why, if you want to get a result, even if, most people should have a coach for that reason, because if you let those things get on for a long period of time, you can really fuck yourself up as well.
But, and they're going to happen as well. It's not a bad thing. Like,
No.
it happens, doesn't it? But it's having that accountability and somebody there to just be keeping on track and question things that you're doing, just to make you actually understand and sort of reflect on where you're at and what you've been doing.
Yeah. And you touched on it before, as like, I'm sure there's so many things that you would have fucked up when you started. Like, I fucked up so many things, which I'd actually get on to what's the worst thing you've done, or the mistakes you've made in a second with nutrition, which is a cool one. But it's, if those habits and behaviors go on that are, negative habits and behaviors, let's say, go on for a long period of time, you can get to a point where you can still come back from it. But if you just have expert guidance. It's like, cool, focus on these things. We'll put a plan together, and then you can have so much more
Yeah.
confidence. You can have that period of somewhat more intense focus on it, because it does take focus. But you could be in 6 months' time the healthiest you've ever been, or you could be the opposite.
100%.
As
And
a-
it's the effects it has outside of the gym,
yes,
in
yeah,
work,
yeah,
with your partner,
yeah,
just with everything that you're doing. Like, I think people think the gym is solely going to help them how they look, or actually going to help them within the gym.
yeah,
Whereas the gym actually massively affects you outside of the gym, and generally in your life, like you say, with work, like people that perform well in their industry, a lot of them are working in the gym.
yeah,
Oh, so not working it, but like they train and they've
yeah,
got coaches,
yeah.
and that they're focusing on that because the effects from it are massive.
Massive. And that's where the nutrition is such an important thing about it as well too, because yes, you're eating to fuel your body for the gym, but also when you have a good understanding of the basics of nutrition, you're going to be fueling your brain as well too, which burns a lot more energy than your muscles ever will do.
Yeah.
And particularly if you're a high stressed individual, or what, even it's just good to have good brain function. Yeah.
Mm.
You feel better, and you'll be able to be better at work and feel more confident and all those sorts of things.
But even like looking at like timings of food,
Yeah.
like you mentioned, like starving yourself all day,
Yeah.
eating at night, like you're then more likely to crave the shitty foods as
Yeah.
such.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas little things and little tweaks with clients, like often clients, they'll be hitting numbers, but they won't feel great from it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's then looking back, right, what have you done? What have you done in the 3 days prior? You've trained twice, you've played tennis, you've done this. Let's have a look at your protein levels. Let's have a look at your calories around it, or the timings that you're eating before playing the sports and things like that. They have such a big effect on it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think, again, people will just eat,
Yeah.
and they'll hit the what. They're literally like, tell me what I need to do, I'll do it, which is great. But then they don't understand the effects it'll have if they, again, just going back to the timings one, making sure that they're not having all the calories or all the protein at once, and
Yeah.
actually spreading it through the day to fuel them properly.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is a big point, I think.
Absolutely. I've one client, he was very much under the understanding of, he's had coaching but in the past, and he would do like a paleo, which I for as a general overview of food, I think it's kind of somewhat sensible. You've got some vegetables, you've got some fruit, you've got some protein, and some decent carbs there, but probably it's lower on the carb side of it. But just having that blanket of, like you said, there's no bad foods once you understand energy balance and the basics of it. But he would not eat carbs pretty much, because like, I can't eat carbs, or if I would, it'd be just berries. I'm like, yeah, but he was also training twice a day. Like, yeah, he's I'm having berries. Like, that's good, yeah. And I was like, yeah, but also like, you probably need 300 or 400 grams of carbs a day.
Tough sessions.
To be able to support that. And then he would wake up in the middle of the night and then go to the fridge and eat a heap of Oreos. I'm like, he's like, oh, but I don't want any carbs at night. I'm like, you are.
And it's just a realization for some people, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I was like, very objectively, you're eating carbohydrates every single night, just in the middle of the night when you're half asleep. Yeah. Just eat them for dinner. Yeah. Don't worry about some brown rice or whatever it might be, or some potato, or pick your carb.
Yeah.
Don't eat the fucking Oreos in the middle of the night.
Yeah, pick and choose wisely here.
Yeah, because you're not. You're doing that unconsciously, but because you just have that healthy food, bad food, therefore can only eat healthy foods. But then when you're asleep, you're eating the bad foods anyway.
Yeah.
Just have some carbs, right? Yeah. And I think it's such there's so much misinformation out there, because I think people want that silver bullet. They want there has to be a secret. And then when you're like, cool, the secret is the energy balance, macronutrients, track your calories. Nah, where's the secret at? It has to be over here. Yeah. That's literally it.
Just consistency, and I sit and like boring. Like, it's pretty boring.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna spruce up to anything exciting. Like, just do these basics well.
But that's what everything is. Yeah. Everything. Like, lifting a huge weight on a back squat, really boring, simple process that you just repeat repeat. It's not like, you see someone in the gym and they squat 200, that at that time they're like, this is 200 kilos, I'm going to think of the magic thing. It doesn't exist. They're probably thinking the same things that they did when they squatted 100 kilos or whatever it might be.
Just repetition.
Yeah, repetition is the mother of all learning, and nutrition is no different. Once you understand the basics of it, if you go basics of a squat, repeat them over and over and over and over and over and over again, and progressively overload it. Nutrition, basics of
Time
it.
will tell.
That's the thing, yeah. And I guess people want that silver bullet. It has to be done yesterday, but
I think that's what's good about having a coach.
yeah,
Just because, in a way, I encourage clients to go wrong.
yeah,
Because it's good. Like we said earlier, like failing's good.
yeah,
But you're better off failing under some supervision where they know that is it going to be sort of detrimental. Like how can we pull it back in line and things like that. But failing's like I encourage my clients like don't worry. Like have this week. Let it see. Like don't track.
Yeah.
Let's see where you're at the end.
Yeah.
Give me some feedback on where you're at. If you fail, it doesn't matter. Like it's not going to be the end of the world. It's actually going to teach you for the long run, and you're going to be better off from it.
yeah. And I think being observant of it and just kind of analyzing what's going on and being aware, like I was saying before when we were coming up here, I'm now more aware of what I say and how I say stuff, just because I've analyzed it a lot, and now I can make improvements on that. Whereas before, I wasn't as aware of what I was saying, and I couldn't make change on what I wasn't aware of.
Just reflecting, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Which like is so easy not to do.
yeah,
And like that's why having a coach in any like whether it's in business, in training,
Yeah.
it's so good. Like again, I've been working with Han quite a bit
yeah.
lately, and I think what I'm doing is cramp here.
You're
Sorry.
sitting down
What did I
too
do
long.
today? Yeah, it's hamstrings.
You know what I actually need to do is bring, because the aircon and the air gets quite dry on here, is next time you come, bring some Gatorade or something like that, because mate, I just down this bottle and it's like I've not drank any water. So you probably just dehydrated from the aircon in here.
Stretch out.
Yeah.
Might have to stretch me out in a minute. Where was we?
Where you're training with one.
Yeah, just I think like I'm a coach and I train. I've trained for like since the age of 15.
Yeah.
And I think my form's pretty good. And I know it's not. I know it is, but constantly you're always gonna have 1% that you can do a little bit better, and you're better off making the mistakes or having somebody watching over you just to give you that bit of guidance. Whether you are good at what you do, you can always like. There's always somebody better than you.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to have a coach, whether, like, again, whatever sort of goal you're working towards, having a coach is just, I think it's, like, pretty vital.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the goal is to always get better, yeah, and be healthier and be able to do it for a long period of time. And, you drive a car, take it to the mechanic once, get a service. It's not the last time you do that. You keep going back because it needs constant checkup.
Yeah.
And it's not the best analogy. Don't do it every 6 months, but probably do it weekly and pay us, and then we're obviously
trying to sell here.
Yeah. That's not even a shameless plug, but the reason I'm sure I'm in this industry, and I'm sure it's very similar for you, because I want to make an impact and I want to help people literally change their lives. I want to get them in the best shape possible for them, be more confident, be fitter, be healthier, and then to a point where they don't need me as well too, because I want you to, and it's why obviously you would put such a big emphasis on the habits and behaviors, and when you hone in on them, because those habits and behaviors, those basics, those keys, the things to focus on, you can continue to repeat for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And if you were to do that, then you're probably going to be healthier and fitter and more confident and have a better quality of life. So,
And that's it. Like when you mentioned about saying that I don't want you to trick, like for example, with my clients, when I do like my when I do my what's the word? What I shouldn't be forgetting this. It's not a good time to forget this one. When you with your clients, your first session, not your first session,
consultation.
There we go.
Look at that.
I've been up since 5 o'clock. That's my excuse.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, when I go through my consultations, I say with clients, again, depending on what they're training with me for, but if they're coming to me because they want to be confident in the gym, my goal is for them to be able to train on their own without me.
Yeah.
And I say that to them, like, I don't want you to train with me forever, in a way, because I want you to be confident enough to be on the gym floor, feel good and confident in what you're doing and know that you're doing it correctly without me being there to support you in that sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're going to benefit from having me there. Even if you know exactly what you're doing,
Yeah.
you're going to get more of a benefit from having a coach there. But ultimately, if your goal is coming to me to be confident on the gym floor, my goal is actually to get you confident
Yeah.
as quick as possible so that you don't need me as a coach.
Yeah.
And I don't take that. I'm not bothered if you leave after 6 months because job's done.
Yeah.
You feel confident to go on your own. Fantastic. I've done what I
Perfect.
need to do.
Yeah.
You don't have to be with me forever. I'm not. Again, you're going to get benefits from that.
Yeah.
But if you solely want to come and just be confident and spend 6 months of training with me to become confident on your own, then that's good. I'd much rather you do that and then become competent in the gym after the 6 months than not go with a coach because you feel the need you're going to have to be with them forever, sort of thing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like, I don't I try not to overload my clients, but I literally don't hold anything back to getting them the result. I'll tell you everything. I have no,
Yeah.
you know, and then after, 12 weeks, 6 months, a year, and you're confident to do it on your own, go for it, because that's ideal. Yeah. But then once they are confident, then they can just go online and
Yeah, that's the next. That's the next progression.
yeah.
You know.
Let's have a look at what are the actually, just to recap on that. Give us just a rapid fire of 3 to 4, 5 things that you think people can focus on, just so people have got some actionable points from that.
Okay, in terms of sort of like the nutrition and habits type style from it.
Just like a bullet points to the point. What do we got?
Okay, let's straight up track for 4 weeks.
Yeah, cool.
Nice and simple. Figure out what you're consuming, where the calories are coming from.
Yeah.
Really good tool to use just to give you some understanding, to help you get in a deficit, to get you understanding where you're actually at in terms of calories.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Number 2, how many do you say?
As many as you want, mate. Just actionable points. So
Actionable
one,
points.
tracking.
Track what you do.
Yep.
I think that's so important, whether it is nutrition or training, but definitely tracking your training so that you're not just turning up and working on how you feel that day. So you've got some numbers to work from. Obviously, the numbers are not going to be the same every week, but if you've got a record of what you've done previously, you're more likely to hit that number or progress with it than just turning up and freestyling.
Yeah.
So really important, I feel, tracking your training
Yep.
to get results.
Yep. Go one more.
One more. Probably more from a weight loss side of view, just being active away from the gym
Yeah.
rather than focusing on the gym.
Yeah.
And again, like steps is a good measure, but doing active things on a daily basis. And again, finding something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's probably the most important one with everything. It always ties back to how I speak with clients is enjoy what you do, whether it's the food you're eating, the training you're doing, and the stuff outside the gym. If you enjoy it, you're going to get results.
And you're
So
gonna
make sure you
it.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
If it takes a bit longer to get there, then you're better off doing it and enjoying it than making it a bit of a slog and making it hard work.
Yeah, for sure. Having a hobby outside that's active or something like that. So
That helps.
Yeah, you're playing tennis recently, yeah?
Yeah. We've got tennis court.
Yeah.
That's why we sort of chose the apartment we did, just because we love playing tennis.
Perfect.
So we played tennis at least sort of 2 or 3 times a week.
Great.
For me, it's always been football.
Yeah.
I've been suffering with like migraines for like the last 6 months, so I've not played football since 6 months. But that's normally my main sport with it.
Yeah.
And again, like I say, I've always been involved with sport, so
Yeah.
been starting a little bit of golf. My friend that came over,
That's probably contributes to the migraines, mate. The stress.
yeah. Oh, I tell you what, yeah, stress and the heat.
Yeah,
Awful.
true.
Mate, I'm awful, but
good to get some steps in.
yeah. There we go. Get your steps in with golf.
Have you just started golf?
Yeah, I've played handful of times prior. Always enjoyed it, but it's a commitment.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I'm going to do it, I want to do it properly, like give it a good go.
Yeah.
Friend came over, we played 3 or 4 times, and he's very good.
Yeah.
And he was basically coaching me, so I massively improved.
Yeah.
Because of him. But I've not played since.
Yeah.
I do want to get playing regularly.
Yeah. It's a good game. I played from 10-ish probably. I started.
Yeah, you were saying with
Billy.
Oh, was it Tom?
Tom, yeah.
Tom's podcast, wasn't it? Yeah.
Spoke about golf quite a bit. we never used to have to pay when we played. Well, you did, but no one paid.
Sneak on.
Yeah. So you just walk on, and so we used to play like 3 or 4 times a week. So I got pretty good at it. I wouldn't say I have the potential to be good, but I just don't want to persist with it. And that's not like an ego thing of like I have the potential. Like I can hit the ball really well, but I will hit so many more bad shots than I do well just because I don't practice.
Yeah.
But when I connect, I can. Have you been to the driving range at Moore Park?
No.
I can pretty much hit the back fence with the driver,
Yeah.
but I just can't replicate it on a consistent basis, which is what golf is. Yeah, so I can hit the ball and I can have the ability to play golf.
Just need that repetition again.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to.
You don't enjoy it enough to want to do it regularly.
Yeah, there's just barrier to entry to it. You've got to book, you've got to pay, and
effort.
Yeah. So at home, you just literally want to go play golf. Yeah, sweet. Let's go play golf, and it was nothing more than that. But down here, you got to book a tee time, and you go play at certain times and stuff like that. So I just don't play. But it's a really good one. It's
good sociable sport,
absolutely,
especially here with such good weather.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's a good one. We'll have to tee up a game, mate. There's a few golfers around. I think.
Yeah, we should get one together.
Tom Merriman, although he's leaving. Tom Ballack, Billy.
Yeah, I played with Billy.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he's better than me, but genuinely, probably most people will be. I was pretty bad, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's such a good sport. It's one that you can play for a long period of time, and if you pick a hobby that is going to help for your health and fitness, golf would be a good one that you could do for a long period of time, just as long as you don't sink heaps of beer.
Yeah.
But it is a good reason why you play it as well too. Okay, so let's have a look. Give us a couple of mistakes you made when it comes to training and nutrition. Let's go nutrition and make it kind of because that's kind of been the vibe. What are the worst mistakes, or the worst things you've tried?
To be honest, I've not got anything that's gonna be too crazy. I'd probably say, nothing really too extreme. I'd probably say whenever I've tried to cut, I'll go through that mentality of I will reduce calories as long as I can through the day, and just bulk them at the end.
Yeah, okay.
Like I can easily, like even I have to sort of, again, I love food, but I have to plan in my food because otherwise, when let's say I'm in work and I've got clients from 5:40 till I could have them 5:40 till 10, and I won't eat anything in that time, and it doesn't bother me when I'm busy. But if I'm sat around, then I will obviously eat more. But I'm very comfortable at getting to a point and not eating.
Yeah. But
then I will eat a big amount.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think probably just starving myself as such to get a number.
Yeah.
I can be very number oriented.
Yeah.
So if I've got a number to hit, I'll hit it. But again, like that's a mistake I've made, and I try and teach clients again not to.
Yeah.
Is spreading your food out.
Yeah. Okay.
Making sure that you don't eat all day, and then just eat between 5 and 8.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Was that an intentional thing where you were trying to do fasting, or you were just
wanted to notice that I'd sort of added a little bit of body fat.
Yep.
Just wanted to reduce it, and again, I've gone through trying to do it quick.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty big deficit, and then just making sure that I'm not really eating until a set point, or trying to last it out as long as possible.
Yeah. Okay.
And then feeling rubbish for it.
Yeah, right. See, I do this. I feel better doing something similar, but I'll typically, if I'm cutting, I'll try and do just 2 meals a day. I'll eat more if I need to eat more, and if I feel really, really hungry. But I find that the bigger meals make me more satiated than if I was to eat, 400-500 calories, 400-500 calories, 400-500 calories. I get a little bit more annoyed doing that. Yeah. So I'm like, I'll just blast through the morning. So the same sort of thing, but I feel good doing it, which is
and again, it's individual.
Yeah. But if that's
and for me, it just didn't work.
Didn't work. Yeah. So what would you do now then?
Just more and often, not smaller and often.
Yeah.
Just again making sure that I'm feeling good from it.
Yeah.
And not put myself in a position where I then don't do the stuff I like doing because I don't have the energy or can't be bothered.
Yeah.
So just prioritizing enjoying it.
Yeah. Okay.
Rather than just trying to get there quicker and restrict just to hit a number.
Yeah, for sure. Which is a funny thing for my approach to that is because I do want to be able to enjoy when I do eat. So I don't like restrict crazy amounts, but when my calories get quite low, just instead of I won't enjoy food if I have it more frequently.
Yeah, okay.
So
I get that, but then personally for me,
yeah,
I don't have the discipline when it comes to food to then, like, let's say I left a bigger amount of calories for the evening,
yeah,
I would just eat
yeah.
rubbish.
Okay.
I'd be attracted to the high calorie foods
Yeah,
that are
fair.
not particularly going to benefit me.
Yeah.
And I'm not very good at control.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, when it comes to chocolate, I don't eat, I say I don't eat chocolate, but I do. I won't buy it in.
Yeah.
If it's in, I will eat it all.
Yeah.
Like, my girlfriend, she can literally, like, cut it into strips, have one a night, one strip a night or whatever.
I think that's a trait of a psychopath.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Honestly, like, I will eat it.
Yeah.
And she has to hide it from me because I'll eat it.
Yeah.
And then one of my friends came back from the UK and brought a big bar of Galaxy, like one of them.
Yeah.
I ate in a full day
Yeah.
just because it's there.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
didn't need it,
Yeah.
but I enjoy it so much, and if it's there, I'll eat it.
Yeah.
I
I was the same when Mel first moved into my place. And anytime I would go to her place, I would just raid her cupboards and just like pick bits and pieces. And she's like, just get some for your own place. I was like, no, I can't because I would do this all the time. So I've got better with that control, and that she would always have she would have like muesli or something like that, and I'll be like just constantly eating that. And yeah, so I don't have stuff in the house for that reason. So I probably on the side of I don't have self control as well too. But I've gotten a little bit better with that now because I don't do it as much. But when she moved in, I did it a little bit, just stuff. My worst thing that I did, I've done many stupid things, but I used to be I didn't want to track calories, so I wouldn't. So I just go the most lazy approach, and but also the worst approach I would do, because it all gets you in, whether you track calories or not. But if you're losing weight, you're in a calorie deficit, so you might as well just track calories and then feel better, which is the big thing. But I would just do like fish and greens for like a month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How did you find that?
I got lean.
Yeah, I bet.
Felt horrible, but it was funny. It was just like back in the, it was probably, closing in on probably, well over 10 years ago now. And I just wouldn't, influence of, whoever I was listening to at the time, don't worry about calories. So do this instead. So it was like, cool, just eliminate everything.
Makes the process simple.
Yeah, it's simple, and it
works.
It works because you're in a calorie deficit. Obviously, we know that now. But yeah, just eating. I did it for a month straight. I got pretty lean, but I was also about 10 kilos lighter than I am now because I just didn't have a lot of muscle mass or carbohydrates. That was probably one of my worst things. Okay, what else we got? How you doing for time, mate?
You're gonna laugh here, but I don't actually have a watch that works. It does work, but it's I don't say it at the time. And my client said to me yesterday, "What time is it?" And I put my phone out, and she was like, "What are you doing? You've got a watch on?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I don't actually set the time, and I should. I love watches. I love watches."
I was gonna say it's just a piece.
But yeah, it's
What
currently.
kind of watch is
what time
it?
is it? 9 o'clock. See, I even have to. I'm not used to telling the time. I can tell the time, by the way.
I
just
can't.
never
That's
set
why
them.
I got this one with the numbers on it.
I just like the look of it.
Fair enough. Is it any certain type of watch? Or?
Yeah, it's a nice watch, Omega.
Right. Okay.
So one of my clients actually bought me this
Yeah,
back in
right,
England
right.
when I left to come out here.
Yeah.
So yeah, really nice watch, and I love my watches, but I just don't set them.
Fair enough. Well, that was.
So yeah, I don't actually know what time it is.
That was one of the fun facts that no one knows about you. You like watches.
Yeah.
One time, me and my brother were at the Moore Park golf course, and we saw a watch on the ground. And where I'm from, I didn't know watches were a thing. I knew you need tell time on it. That's to the extent that I knew a watch was. And if there was a watch that was $200, that was like the most expensive watch that you could get to me. Whatever I grew up. And then I moved to Sydney, and one of my mates had like a $10,000 Rolex, and I'm like, you can't spend 10 grand on
warrant that.
No, that's a motorbike. You're not.
And you've got it on your wrist.
You got it on your wrist. Anyway, we're at the golf course, and my brother is a great, and he's looked down, and he's like, "What's that?" And he picked up the great, and there was an Omega watch in there. Neither of us no fucking idea about watches. Yeah. Anyway, and he's like, "Oh, I take it in, took it inside, gave it to the guys behind the counter, walking out, and I was like, I wonder if it was expensive. And I was like,
Googled it.
yeah, Googled it. It was worth like 12 grand. I was like, fuck.
We shouldn't have handed that back in.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, but I just, to me, it can't cost that
Yeah,
much.
yeah. It just doesn't.
It doesn't. This costs like 150 bucks. Someone was trying to tell me the other day to get an Apple Watch, and I was like, he's like, do you have a Whoop? And one of my mates, and I was like, no, it's a Fitbit. And he's like, oh, I said, no, why's that? It's like, oh, what's on your arm in the videos? And I was like, oh, it's a Fitbit. He's like, oh, I'll get an Apple Watch. I was like, no, I don't want one. Like, I just want to be able to, whoop, there's the time. Oh, there's my steps. That's it. And he's like, I'll get an Apple Watch. I was like, no, this costs 150 bucks. An Apple Watch will cost 600 or whatever, and that's too much. Or however much. I don't know. And he's like,
this does the job.
Yeah, yours doesn't even like tell the time.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Really.
You should get a Fitbit, mate. Fair enough.
It looks good though. I like the look.
Fair. I genuinely couldn't understand it when one of my clients said they were going to buy like a $5,000 watch for their partner. I was like, what?
Waste of money.
Why are you spending $5,000?
We're on holiday.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I appreciate it. And then one of my clients, the most expensive watch that I ever knew that a person could have, and I know they go up, he had like a $45,000 watch. And this was back when I first started. I was like, I literally earned that last year.
Yeah.
Just that.
That's mad to think someone's got on the wrist.
Yeah. Crazy.
Another one actually. I used to wear my watch on the right hand.
Right.
And I used to get loads of stick for that.
Yeah, I
So
bet.
I've now gone to the left. I don't know. I've got a funny thing with watches, I think.
So we're working on your habits and behaviors, mate. So now you've gone from right to left. That's good. That's an improvement.
It's a start.
Yeah. Let's.
Now, next one, we'll get an hour closer.
Yeah. Get it within shot. What do they say? A broken watch or broken clock is at least right twice a day. So it'll be right at some point.
There we go.
Okay. What else are we going to talk about? Let's do some exercise. One thing that I want to do on the podcast. Have you seen Modern Wisdom, Chris Williamson?
No, I've listened to a few bits of his stuff.
Yeah, he does a top 10 or 10 exercises if you could do for the rest of your life. But we're just going to go top 10 and why. So top 10 can be for you, top 10, just your top 10 exercises that you like to do with clients or whatever it might be. And what are your reasons behind it?
Okay, probably number one would just be a bench press.
Cool.
A bench press.
Solid, staple.
Yeah, not too much to it.
Yeah.
Not much to think about.
Always on Mondays?
Not particularly, no.
No?
Yeah, no.
Wine likes a bench press, so you picked a good coach.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love a bench press.
Nice.
That'd be definitely number one, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy to do.
Yeah.
Not much to think about.
Yeah.
And I like the progression with it.
Yeah, it's good standard. I say that exercises like that, barbell exercises and things of that nature, just so much easier to standardize. No, it might not be the best chest exercise when we look at biomechanics, but it's probably going to be more readily available. It's fun to train. Get a stronger bench. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel better.
Come away from it feeling good.
Yeah. Cool. Bench 100 kilos. Go have that as a goal.
Yeah.
You'll get a bigger chest, surely at some point.
Easy to work backwards from.
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of goals.
Yeah, and standardized stuff. Cool. Bench.
So I think Tom Merriam potentially mentioned this. Pendulum.
Yeah, cool.
I love a pendulum.
Yeah, awesome.
I'd say number two.
Yeah.
I prefer a pendulum to a squat.
Mm-hmm. That's wrong, but that's okay.
Yeah, I should be saying that on here, should I?
No, I'm joking. No, I love a pendulum as well.
I've got into squats more
Yeah.
recently, but potentially from you guys
Yeah.
all over social media. But no, I love a pendulum. Like I say, nice and easy to set up. Don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
I like movements that I can. The way I train, I don't like to be in the gym for too long.
Yeah.
So I like to make it quick and easy, but effective at the same time. And I think pendulums are effective.
Mate, it's most effective if those are the goals. If you're not worried about just getting a big back squat.
Yeah.
I would go to that if that's the goal. Like,
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it suits me.
Yeah.
So.
Two.
Number three. I'll tell you one I definitely don't like. I don't like. Or is that another question?
We can do the ones you don't like, but
I'll throw this in there then. I like lat raise. Love lat raise.
Cool.
Don't like shoulders. Don't like training shoulders.
Right, okay.
but I love a lat raise.
Cool.
Again, feel it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't at all.
do you not?
Yeah. I love it. I
Oh,
think
you
it's,
do. You like them?
Oh, I really like them, but it's a hard one for me to get going.
Okay.
Yeah. But I program a lot. I think it's a
Yeah.
very, very good exercise. For me in particular, I do it, but I'll go to a cable or something like that.
Yeah, I like.
But-
Don't mind a cable one.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm doing that at the minute.
Yeah.
So
So that's 3. What else we got?
I love a machine fly.
Cool.
Yeah, I like chest.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Sweet.
Yeah. Pec fly.
Yeah.
Again, feel like you get good engagement from it.
Yeah.
Machine as well, or cables, either or. To be honest,
Yeah.
don't know which one I'd prefer.
That's 4.
Trap bar deadlift.
Cool. Good one.
Yeah, I like that. Again, you can sort of get pretty heavy with it without having to worry too much compared to like a conventional deadlift in terms of form.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to, and again, for coaching clients, I prefer working with a conventional trap bar to start with at least.
Yeah.
Depending on the client, if they want to go into conventional, we'll look at doing that. Depending on what the goals are. Yeah, like a deadlift.
Cool. 5.
Probably triceps. I love triceps. I'd probably go like a rope push down.
Nice.
Any tricep movements, to be fair. I like that because,
You like you pushing, mate.
yeah, I love a push. And
Yeah.
I love the aesthetics to the side to it. You get a nice, good pump.
Yeah.
You feel good for it.
Yeah.
I'm all about feeling good
Absolutely.
from the gym.
Yeah.
So probably the next one would be a bicep movement.
Staple. So what have we got there? That's 6, 7.
Yeah. Biceps, probably just pretty boring, but just an incline bicep curl.
Yep.
I've never really done them prior to, we did it with Matt Duncan actually when we finished the phase 1 of the elevated coach.
Mm-hmm.
We did, I'm going to forget the name, doing it at the minute.
Squatting reach one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Because I used to see people in the gym doing that, and I thought,
You're an
just
idiot.
just
Way
do
to
it
stand
properly.
up.
Like, just stand up and do a bicep curl. And then after experimenting with it, it's good. I
Yeah.
enjoy that.
Would that be 7 or in place of the normal one? You can have 11 if you like.
We'll
mate.
go 7.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So squatting, bicep curl with a cable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good one to get.
Then I love a pull up.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy pull ups.
Yeah. 2 more.
Leg extension. To be fair, that had been closer to my favourite actually. I love a leg extension.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Again, just nice and easy to use. Get a good feel for it.
Yeah.
Quads look good when you train, so
Absolutely. Yeah.
feel good factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, love a leg extension.
I'm piss weak on it.
You shouldn't be.
Everybody thinks that, but I don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't do it. And just that top portion, that my legs look all right when I get there, but they're so shit there.
I'm all about them.
Yeah. So 1 more to go.
Probably dumbbell RDL.
Nice. Cool.
Like a dumbbell RDL.
Cool. Awesome. Good list, mate. I like they're all excellent exercises, and obviously a big thing for you is just limiting that barrier to entry almost, and just do the most effective exercise for that muscle group, and then don't worry about a back squat. I love a back squat, but if the goal is not to get a big back squat and you don't want to spend the time working on it, don't work on it. But if you do, then that's the thing that's going to get you, and then the pendulum squat's going to be a good accessory. But it's, for most people, it's one that's just not that efficient. So, if you want.
Yeah, and I do enjoy the squat, especially lately. I've enjoyed it a lot more.
Yeah.
Because I've spent more time training.
Yeah.
I've sort of prioritised spending a little bit longer with my sessions.
Yeah.
Whereas normally I would go in, I'd train between clients sometimes. If I've had a 40-minute gap,
Yeah.
I'd hammer 30 minutes. But I've started to do longer sessions, which I've quite enjoyed actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just accepting in my own head that to spend time on it makes me enjoy setting up, having the rest in between.
Yeah.
Whereas normally I'm like bang, 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 in and out.
Yeah.
whereas I'm starting to sort of spend a little bit more time.
Yeah, and it's a big one. It's such a, I think it can be one of the most effective exercises for people if you want to persist with it, but also it can cause a lot of frustration if you don't want to persist with it. And there's so many other exercises that if you're short on time, like for instance today I was meant to squat. I'm pretty heavy into a cut at the moment, and I was warming up and I was like, not today. I just want to do some upper body, and I felt so much better for it. And I'll squat tomorrow. It's rare that I'll miss a squat session, but it can be a frustrating exercise. And if I was just doing a lower body session, I'd do pendulum or whatever, and something else like that. But it is a very, very good exercise, but it also can be one of the ones that just is unnecessary for people. But if you do want to learn how to squat, come see me, because I can make it. Hopefully my enthusiasm for it rubs off.
He's got to do. If you're going to squat, you have to come to you with your excitement and passion for it.
Absolutely, mate. I get so gassed up about it. I started doing it originally because it was one of the ones that I didn't see a lot of people doing. I loved it, and it was like, it's so cool. But then it's like, you see so many people, they get a big deadlift, but not many people will have like a huge squat, and they won't do it so frequently. So I was like, cool, I'm going
That's
to
your trigger to
Yeah, I'm like, cool, I'm going to do it. I did the same thing. That's kind of how I do things. I did the same thing with pull-ups. I was like, pull-up versus chin-up. If you have your palms facing, for the listeners, palms facing you or palms facing away from you, technically, well, it's going to be harder palms facing away. So I was like, cool, that's the one I'm doing. And
you've got to go against.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
Yeah, so I ended up having a 50 kilo pull up and a 50 kilo chin up at the same time, which means that my chin up was weaker, but my pull up was just really strong.
I get that. That mentality as well. Like, we went and watched Jen at the weekend do the
run,
the run with no finish line, and the mentality of people there, I liked it because there wasn't a massive amount of people.
Yeah.
And like, who wants to run a race with no finish line?
No finish line, yeah.
And that sort of gave me that sort of excitement. I want to do something like that.
Yeah.
I want to do the stuff that people don't like.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, there's something about it. I don't like just sort of following the crowd with it.
Yeah, it's why I did this as well too. Like, obviously there's a lot of podcasts, but it's just that everybody's doing normal social media. I'm going to do the thing that's a bit harder, And this turned out to be very different than what I had in my head at the time. I was like, I'm going to make some videos on my balcony, and that was going to be
next minute.
And now it's on Spotify, and it's the biggest podcast in the world. But I think last I looked, I had like 2,500 impressions on it, which just means that they've scrolled by it on.
Might double. It's going to double after this.
Yeah. What were we talking about? Squats. We can continue to talk about that. No, let's. It's 3:33 at the moment. You got a session at 4. Let's wrap up.
Quick.
Yeah. It's good fun. Hey, you don't know.
Flown by.
Yeah, just being in a room with no outside light, how quick time goes. Where do you see the fitness industry going in the next 10 years? / where would you like it to go?
I think at the minute it's quite positive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think obviously there's negatives that comes with positives, but with like online and social media, I think it's actually massively helped the fitness industry, just because I think there's more good people in fitness than there is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying it's bad people, but I think people are in it for the wrong reasons sometimes.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the majority of people are in it because they like helping people.
Yeah.
So I think social media's been a really good platform just to show the positive elements of fitness.
Yeah.
And everybody that's on fitness has their own sort of direction with it. Whether it's they want to become looking better, they want to feel better. There's so many opportunities for people to learn about fitness and how they can actually improve themselves. So I think it's gonna get better. Like, I think it's already become such a big part of majority of people's life, and I think it's just going to increase the amount of people that make a priority to involve in sport or fitness and health within their life, and make it more of a priority to people that probably don't make it a priority at the minute. I think it's going to become more sort of natural for them to fall into fitness.
Yeah, for
Whereas I think prior to potentially social media, it's more of you're either born into it or you're not really into it that much.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess with the rise of anything, like you said, there's going to be good and bad. And there is, with the rise of it being more on social media and more with more online coaches, there inevitably has to be a little bit more focus on the habits and nutrition side of it with those things, particularly the online coaching, because there's not that face-to-face element, and it's people have to do a little bit more themselves, and if you want to get that result. So obviously with people like
Yeah.
you and what you do, and a lot of the coaches that we're surrounded by, it's, for lack of a better description, a little bit more of a holistic approach that you're encompassing a lot more things, because we now appreciate that as life gets more busy, more expensive, more stressful, you need to have those habits and behaviors ingrained and work in that direction. Otherwise, we could really fast, it could really fast, could be really fast going in the direction that everybody's health starts to deteriorate a lot, because we need to do less now than ever from a physical standpoint to live. And
because there's so many things that are affecting that. Like just social media, like naturally all just like the conversation we had a couple of weeks back where you were saying about your social media, how you have it separate on a separate device. Little things like that. It's like majority of people, we just, where did I walk the other day? I walked past, it was maybe like a cafe or so, it was something, but every single person in there was on the phone. And I wanted to go back and take a picture. I was like, that's mad. Like, everybody's just so focused.
Someone's taking a picture of you taking a picture.
Yeah.
But it's one thing I guess to talk a little bit about that, not to get too far in it, but I got rid of social media on my phone this year, because if anybody didn't know, we're filming this on the phone, so it has to be housing all this sort of stuff, and then I upload it and get rid of it. But I want to make sure there's space for that. But then it also just creates, I still have the habit of picking up my phone, but every time I pick up my phone, it's just so much more underwhelming. Check my email so much this year. But I'm like, oh, cool, that's it. And also I actually downloaded Instagram on my phone the other day, just so I could action something that I said I was going to do, because I left my iPad at home, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to let this be
a trigger to.
But I downloaded it, and it actually looks so weird on my phone now that I was like, oh, that's weird.
That's good though.
I really like it. And in terms of changing habits, there's that element of, you have to make something unattractive to an extent. And now for me, it's not me on my high horse. I still use Instagram, but I have it on my iPad, and it's less attractive on my iPad and than it was on my phone. So I don't use as much on my iPad, and now it's even less attractive on my phone. So I'm just not attracted to it in that way, because that's a lot of what those things are built around, is it's making it more
100%.
Attractive to the person.
And again, just delving back into sort of like nutrition and training, it's working with clients, making a habit attractive or unattractive is a massive part. And again, people don't always realise that it's the James Clear book, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Atomic Habits. Just really simple, actionable steps you can do to make a habit sustainable or to get rid of a bad habit.
And that was the thing with getting rid of the social media, is that I haven't got rid of it, but I've got it off my phone. So it's not there, and then put it in a way that was unattractive. But now, because, where was I going with that? That stopped the habit of me picking up my phone so much, because I would pick it up in between. It's the hard part about our job. We're constantly grabbing our phone, and you notice that I put my phone down probably a lot on all the equipment, but so I have it away from me. Not because I'm like, I'll be on it, but I just want to
get away from that.
Focus on my client. And I bought this, so I stopped looking at my phone for the time, and I started looking at my watch for the time. And it was flat the other day, so I didn't have it on. And then I went, oh shit, it's not there. But that started to change that habit, and it's just such a little subtle thing that
makes
can
a big change.
It
has a big effect.
Yeah, for sure. And just trying to find that trigger. Right, mate. We'll pull it up there. Thanks for that. That was good.
Thanks for having me.
I had fun there. We'll definitely do that again, mate. It'll be cool to get stuck into maybe the habits topic and delve into that a little bit more, and anything else. We've still got a heap on the list. So
yeah, no, sounds good.
Awesome.
Enjoyed it.
Awesome. Cheers.
Thank you.